So we are talking about one of my favorite DPS casters, Izumo no Okuni. And yes, it's mostly because she's quick. Because quick feels the best for casters for some reason. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to DPS, casters, like, all you have is Sansong, Chloe, and then a whole bunch of arts units. And again, arts units, if they are not, like, their face cards don't do shit. So if you're not critting on, like, for refund, you might have issues. Quick doesn't really have that problem. You crit the turns you crit, and then you MP the turns you MP. And Izumo no Kuni is special in the sense that on one of those turns, she definitely wants to be face carding. So let us get started. 11.3k base attack. Not that far off the average 11.5, if that even still is the average. Really haven't checked. Or median. I could have sworn I went over this, and I'm pretty sure 11.5 is like the medium, not the average. Yeah, no, I think I've been misspeaking. But yeah, the median or midpoint for 5-star attack should be around 11.5k. This is like 126 less. So it's not even that big of a deal. HP though is significantly lower as a way to compensate, barely under 13k, which for a 5-star is definitely on the lower side of the spectrum. Oh yeah, by the way, Mafia versus Zamburo. MP charge, very, very healthy at 0.8%. For quick units, if their MP gain is not higher than like 0.6, they are going to be struggling, especially if their MP is low hits, or in general, they just have low hits on their hit for hit counts across the board. Okuni, not really. Her hit counts are average at bare minimum or above average with the quick cards. You don't really care about the buster. For this quick card, you actually do care. If you crit, you're basically getting most, if not all, your MP back. Especially if it's MP, like, especially in a Mighty Chain. Like, this last is probably going to refund, like, most of whatever you don't have. But these quick cards are fairly good. So, I'm going to bring this up about sports. Because of this part, you are going to want Khazro Drop. You're definitely going to want Khazro Drop in there somehow, because this is not consistent enough to, like, really get the defense down. Let me explain that. With Khazro Drop, it is super, super easy to overcap on defense down. Like, insanely fast. Because Khazro Drop puts, like, 70 plus defense down by literally popping her third skill and MPing. So if your character has a lot of defense down in their kit, Khazro Drop you're probably going to want to avoid just to keep from overcapping. In this situation though, sorry, I was about to say Khazro Drop again. Okuni is not hitting that cap anytime soon, and it is so unlikely for her to even hit that. But we will get there in just a sec. Mats to level, or sorry, not mats to level. Traits really, the only thing I can really say, I want to say, is group servant, because it means if you use her with, it's either Nemo or it's Ryoma that has the group servant buff. I could have sworn it was Nemo. I'm just gonna double check that. But if it is Nemo, then it works a lot better because Nemo is AoE while Ryoma is single target. So, yep, okay. So, if you're doing multi-core and it's like assassins and casters and like the AoE stuff is casters, you can use Nemo and Okuni together and do it multi-core, and you probably won't have any issues. Yeah, so moving on to the skills. So, this is the original version of the skill, 30% card buffs for Quick and Buster with a 2-attack, 3-turn dodge. So, both of these are 5-turn effects. The issue is usually they're not together. Like, if you have this 2-attack, 3-turn dodge, with a card buff, it's usually A, only one card buff, and B, it's on a 6 turn. So them having this on a 7, I was okay with it, but in practicality, like a quick servant having beyond 7 turn cooldown for anything is just too much, because it means she's out of sync with both the Scotties. Both of them are under 6 turns, with only Ruler Scotty having a 7 turn cooldown for skill 2. So it lines up with only one of Ruler Scotty's skills, which no. Especially when it's Ruler Scotty's least damage amping skill too. So yeah, them bringing this down to a 6 turn, I understand, and I honestly want to say they didn't need to add this effect. But let's be honest, if they just reduced the cooldown, people would not have been happy. So adding another 20% MP damage for the entire party, no less, is a whole lot better. See, I didn't even see that this was party-wide. That honestly makes this skill so much better. Especially bringing up the Santa Nemo example. Like, both of them are popping that first skill, and honestly, the versatility... Wait, actually... Yeah, hold up. Because this actually is a lot of synergy. MP damage, Voyager of the Storms, burst damage. Yeah, no, Nemo is not a bad multi-core servant for Okuni. These are, I mean, you don't have to worry about this, but 10 battery, MP damage, and then all this shit too. Yeah. The only negative synergy you're gonna have is like, when do you pop this skill? And it's more like, do you actually need this attack buff? If not, save it for when you need it. Again, that is very node dependent, and at 90++, even though this is on a this is 3 turn duration, you're not gonna give up another 20% attack and 20% MP damage to keep that going. Like, this is on, I know I'm talking about Nemo in an Okuni video, but this is really like the summer comma issue, where you would want to pop this first for this to carry over, but if you do, it also means your turn 3 damage. So it's like weaker turn 1 and 2, but strong turn 3. And again, I'm only bringing this up because Group Servant goes with Okuni. She doesn't have that many traits, so I kind of really want to show off her synergy, because she is a really good servant. But most people aren't going to try, like, go for this servant just because she's quick. But pretty much like any assassin I ever bring her to gets clapped pretty easily and comfortably. Because not only is the damage good, so is the refund. Moving back over here, and this is why I say cause her drop. You probably are going to want to choose, even though she has defense down in her kit. Normally, if a servant has defense down the kit, again, I want to avoid cause her drop just so it doesn't overcap. But here, it is so unlikely you would actually be able to overcap this. And it has to do with this line here. When you crit, you put defense down. So not only does this put like a lot of restrictions on the skill itself, this is also only a one turn buff. If they made this 3 times 3 turns, I would be fine. If they made it 5 times 3 turns, best possible buff this skill could get, and I would preface that easily over an MP buff. Her having more uptime on the defense down for this part of the skill would just make it better. But notice how I said the issue wasn't her critting, because it's definitely not her critting. She can crit whenever she needs to, especially in Ruler Scotty setups. But it's mostly this. She gives herself 1,000 star weight. she is a class with a lot lower star weight. So this level helps, and it's not like she needs the 5,000 because she's not a berserker. Like, she doesn't need the star weight that high, although this definitely will help if she's in a party. With, like I said, Nemo, this is gonna help her out of getting stars so much more, because Nemo's a rider with 200 star weight, so he has 4 times the star weight of Okuni. Third skill. Now, this also has a 7-turn cooldown, but the way this skill works, everything kind of goes down by 1 if you use this on Okuni. 50 battery per herself, 15 stars, and for Quick, they don't have... Quick having 50 batteries was not common. For a very long time, this was not a common thing. Now it's getting a lot more common, and we're getting servants with bigger batteries like BB Dubai, and other characters that have 70 batteries like that. But she also has targeted cooldown reduction. So the 7-turn here was, if you use the skill on her, it was really a 6-turn. And now you can get it even lower with a Pen 5 and this cooldown going down, and yeah. She has her kit is pretty bare bones. But they made the upstairs part of her so good, it really doesn't matter, like, how generic some of her skills are. Like, you're not seeing anything like Alco has. This isn't that complicated. There's beauty in simplicity. I don't need a character that you have to read the wiki page for every time you use them, because there's just so much shit going on the screen. There are characters like that, and not every person wants to play the characters like that. Passive skills. Arts and crit damage up 4% each. Debuff success rate and crit damage 4% each. 2 stars per turn and more crit damage. So 12% crit damage, 4% arts, 4% debuff success rate, and 2 stars per turn. Not the best passives, but obviously not the worst. Pens. This is really going to come down to you. Anti-Pretender, not terrible for her, because as a caster, Pretenders are not going to be doing that much damage to her. So she does normal damage, they do half. One is going to kill the other before... Like, you're going to kill someone when you do full damage faster than when they're doing half damage to you. I really do, like, I don't usually bring up extra attack anymore since a Pen 5 came out, but for Okuni specifically, I do want to bring this up because she is a crit DPS. It is very, very likely for a crit DPS to be getting a extra attack off, whether it's a full crit chain or incorporating an MP in there just because you don't have the cards. So you giving yourself an extra attack card buff is not the worst, especially with her base MP gain being as high as it is. And yes, this isn't assassin level, but assassins are the exception, not the rule. This is pretty average star weight, all things considered, across all the characters in the game. So I really can't complain. And even her base attack, it's not the lowest. We're not looking at something in the 9,000 range. This is like pretty middle of the pack, and it shows. Like, I'm not afraid to say Okuni is a middle of the pack servant, but her niche is just so empty, she shines. Like, if she was a different class, like if she was a Saber, no, especially because Saber Medusa, she would not be standing out at all. I can promise you that Okuni as a Saber would not be standing out, because that Sabers is a lot stiffer competition for DPS than casters, because there aren't that many caster DPSs. Like, it became the problem of FGO that every support was a caster, so people were only looking at the caster list. Now the problem is everyone is looking at extra class, and extra class is literally like 7 different classes at once. So fixed the solution and they made an even bigger one, because now you are definitely not finding any extra class you actively want. I'm off topic, but yeah, because Okuni has the 50 battery, I would recommend a pen 5 and 1 first, but you can also change, so it really depends on the setup. MP, 10 hits, single target quick, with quick res down before damage active, and it lasts for 3 turns. You might think that this isn't that good, like as a 5-star, she has inherently 50% quick up as long as she's MPing, and this also ramps up. So again, the more she MPs, not only does she do more damage, is a quick res down, not buster. She's gonna be refunding more every time too, so it just gets easier and easier to keep looping her. The more buffs you keep on her, the more this is just gonna be a permanent 60% quick res down, possibly for the whole fight. Again, as long as you can keep her alive. Last cherry on top, anti-demonic. Thank God it's demonic and not demon. Because demonic is pretty much all of these enemies. These servants too, but you get the gist. This is a very, very long list. Very applicable. If you're doing a 90++, Okuni probably is killing the enemy that's by themselves that isn't the boss. Like if it's a 3-1-1 node, for instance, bring up like Summer 8. It was Assassin 3-1-1 and 3 enemies, Dragon, and then MHX, if I'm not mistaken. A node like that, Okuni would really shine because she would just kill the trash mob like really quickly. And I know I'm bringing up it was a dragon, but imagine it was just some random demonic mob here that's high health. Sure, Mahanaga. Imagine it's the Mahanaga that is just gonna buff strip you if you don't kill it. It's an assassin. She quickly kills it, and then you're on to the next wave. Sorry, I just got a message on my phone and I had to check it mid-recording. I'm keeping it in there just to show incompetency. But yeah, anti-demonic, not great for servants. However, yeah, if there was any class that was gonna get anti-demonic against servants, it would be a caster. Because as you can see here, 6, 10 that Okuni has full class advantage against. And that's 10 out of 28 playable characters. So a third of the servants that have the trait, has full class advantage again. Or not full class advantage, but she does 2 times damage. So again, not a terrible niche for her to have. I love the mats, except this. I'm starving for these on JP now for some ungodly reason. I blame Coin Skya. She's probably swindling me and shortchanging me somehow. But yeah, her master level are really not that bad based on my playthrough. But again, it just depends on when you start the game and how much you actually play. Pens look so much even. They look better than these mats. Because this is up to Lost Belt 3. This is up to Lost Belt or Hankyo. Ponzi, 15% power mod to demonic and 15% power crit damage to the party. These would add into each other, so if you fight someone that's demonic, you get basically 30% crit damage if you crit. In the same part of the formula. And also, cherry on top, this is a power mod for demonic. This is super effective damage for demonic. So if you actually do put this Bonsi on her, she's double dipping in anti-demonic. which is is actually going to increase her damage a lot more. However, not as much, because we did get this MP damage up for the party, so that is going to affect it. But yeah, again, power mod, crit damage, MP damage, literally the same part of the formula. All of them are conditional. If something happens, then more damage. And honestly, putting it like that, it makes a lot of sense to just put all those in the same part of the formula, because then if you've ever done coding, the simpler the code, the better, because the more complicated the code, the much easier chance for something to break. And especially with math, if anything is ever reduced to 0, there needs to be safeguards in the equation, otherwise the whole thing is going to be 0. So anything to make sure that your damage actually accidentally doesn't tank to 0 when the enemy doesn't have a dodge or invo. That would be really, really shitty feeling. All right, so this is Okuni. I'm recording this right before I get a haircut. So yeah, whenever I release this video, you guys get to be the last ones to see me with my hair like this. And even sitting up while I'm recording, it is sometimes harder to like even see my hair because I'm in a black chair. So hope you guys have a good day. When I come back from the barber, I am I'm reading Arcade and going through Guda Guda 6 rerun. Right? Yeah. All right. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.